Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Trillionaire Mac, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you all exactly how I take advantage of US30 during New York session, all right? I'm going to be giving you guys a couple of confluences to look for, a couple of things that can assist you with taking advantage of US30, but overall just showing you guys how I do what I do. Either we do have a setup or we don't have a setup. And I'm going to be giving you guys some of those rules that I use to understand whether or not I have a setup to look for. All right. With that being said, if you are not a part of the YouTube family, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube family. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy and if you are able to pull some gems out of it. Always feel free to share it with a friend or a colleague. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Let's go. All right, so when it comes to actually day trading US30, okay, one of the things I really look for is some type of point of interest, whether it be supply or demand. Is price traveling towards supply or demand? Is it traveling away from supply and demand? What has gone on recently and what am I anticipating, right? I'm also going to be looking at H1 structure. So the first thing you guys want to understand is what's going on a higher time frame, such as the H1, right? So on the H1 time frame, here are a couple of questions that you guys can ask yourself. They're very similar to the questions that I ask myself. One being, are we near any type of supply or demand, right? Because we understand the markets are going to move based on supply and demand of a particular asset. Next, you can ask yourself, do we have a most recent break of structure? And if so, where? Okay. Then the last question you can ask yourself about is going to be fundamentals or news. So this is the exact order that I go in when looking for a specific trade. So let's check out this region here where I entered the market. I gave this breakdown to my students and they really loved it. So I figured I would give a more mild breakdown with a little bit less information because you guys know I have to save most of the information that I teach within the mentorship program. However, a lot of students said it was definitely able to give them clarity on US30. And as you guys know, I do day trade US30 and I do long-term trade US30. I just don't really share my analysis or anything like that. Definitely getting better at trading this asset class for sure. So in the H1 time frame, we can see that we do have some type of supply here within this area, right? Price trades into this supply, okay? During New York session, which is perfect because usually I take US30 entries either during London, but more specifically, I like to take those types of entries during New York for sure. So we can see we traded into this H1 point of interest. Now we're going to ask ourselves, where is our last break of structure? Do we have a break of structure and where is it? So we can see that our last break of structure is actually right here, right? Price doesn't necessarily break any type of structure internally throughout this area. We do have a break of structure to the upside internally. However, our swing structure is still intact, with our swing structure being this high here and this low here, right? So whenever you are looking for a break of structure, you're looking for one of the swing points to be broken, okay? Now, if we look at the previous break of structure, okay, the previous break of structure we do have a lot of internal structure throughout this entire region here. However, I'm just going to use, if we were on the H4, we would have this piece of structure here and this piece of structure here. If we go to the H4, you guys should be able to see that perfectly. There we go, right? So we have this high, and then we have this low, and then we have this lower high. So if we go back to the H1, right, we can see that our most recent break of structure was here within this region, right? And it was a break of structure to the downside after price had swept this liquidity here, and we also tapped into this supply region here, right? So after all of that takes place, we break to the downside. So not only do we have a supply point of interest to look for price to trade from, but we can also see that we have a break of structure to the downside. Now, all of this should be notifying you guys that we are bearish, right? We have a downside break of structure based on swing structure. We have supply point of interest, so we know that bears are in control, sellers are in control throughout this entire region. The last confluence that you should look for is, of course, your news events. What's going on with the top 30 Fortune 500 companies? How are their earnings looking? How's the stock price looking? All of that goes into account when trading US30 because those top 30 big boys definitely have an impact, some type of impact on the US30 market, right? So within this region, we can see that we understand what the H1 time frame is doing. We understand that we're in supply. We did see a break of structure to the downside previously that created the supply that we're currently in. And at this point in time, I can't necessarily tell you guys what news released, but I do pay attention to news anytime I am day trading these assets, right? So finding all of this on the H1 time frame. Okay, my choice of entry was the M5 on US30 for this trade specifically, right? So when we get to the M5 time frame, really most of the work is done on the higher time frame as it relates to direction, as it relates to targets, as it relates to who's in control. But when it comes to taking an entry, the lower time frame is where it's going to be at. Let's actually fix this up. There we go. Right, the lower time frame is where it's going to be at when it comes to your entry model, when it comes to where you're going to actually enter the market, set your stop loss, um, things of that nature. Right. So for this trade here, we can see that price does tap into this higher time frame H1 point of interest here. All right, so we tap into this region. We do have our sweep of liquidity here. We have our change of momentum when price rejects this supply. Okay, it takes out this previous higher low with this nice move to the downside, and then price retraces back into what is important in my eyes. Right? As students of mine, you guys know exactly why this was the candle of choice and not the one right next to it, even though the one right next to it is the bearish order block. As you guys know, I don't trade from order blocks. There's a specific way that I like to take these types of trades. Right? Now, I always include spread and things like that when it comes to me taking an entry, especially on US30. So if there is spread included, I will make that the difference, okay, of my actual entry. So sometimes I'll take a little bit off, sometimes I'll add a little bit on, just depending on my spread and my risk appetite for this specific trade, right? Now, you want to make sure that sorry about that, guys. You want to make sure that you guys keep risk very, very tight with US30. You want to manage your risk very, very well. If you are new to US30, I wouldn't necessarily suggest going on the M1 and the M5 to take your entries, but if you understand the US30 market, if you've been studying it for a while, always feel free to do so. US30 is one of those pairs that we do talk about within the mentorship community. So for those of you that aren't a part of the mentorship program, feel free to click the link in the description and join us on our weekly mentorship sessions. All right, we have 3 sessions a week. You guys pretty much hop on. I give you guys the outlook on what's going on. It's really like a teacher, student, or professor and college student type of mentorship program. My students ask me questions. Hey, Matt, can you go over this pair? Can you go over that pair? What are you expecting for this? What are you expecting for that? And really, I just give you guys free trades as well, right? Like I show you guys exactly what I'm looking for on gold and US30 and Bitcoin and things like that, just to make sure you guys have a clear understanding and also to up your confidence. So for those of you who are studying the course information, for those of you who are studying the webinars, when you hop onto the mentorship live sessions, all right, it makes it very, very easy for you guys to see how I actually apply that information real time, right? Now, we also have a day trading masterclass coming up. This is considered a day trade. I used my day trading rules, okay, and my day trading rule book in order to take advantage of this US30 trade. So if you're interested in joining the day trading masterclass, if you're interested in taking your day trading to the next level, the link in the description will also accommodate the day trading masterclass. Feel free to check it out. Super excited about it. We have about a week before we go live with that, so make sure you guys are taking advantage. I don't even know how many tickets we have left, to be honest, but I'll give you guys an update sometime this week on how many tickets we actually have left, because as you guys know, we're capping it out. We definitely have already had 117 tickets sold, and I know that for a fact based on the numbers at the beginning of last week, but I have to check with the team to see how many tickets were sold throughout last week, and then I'll give you guys an update on how many tickets we have left, right? So if you want to join the day trading masterclass, I would not sleep on that. Feel free to go ahead and sign up, go ahead and join. More than likely, we're going to increase the price this week, depending on how many tickets we sold last week. So be sure to take advantage. Those of you who do join the day trading masterclass, you guys will also be receiving my day trading checklist as well. So keep that in mind for sure. Right. So this was a very, very straightforward trade. We reached around 75 points for about 624.4 points on US30, which is absolutely phenomenal. If you can produce one of these trades every single week on US30, I promise you are good to go. And one thing about our strategy, there's a specific time that we look for these US30 trades. So for those of you who are saying, I need a strategy that not only tells me when to enter the market, when to get out, when to set my stop loss, where to set my entry, where to set my TP and things like that, but our strategy also tells you what time of day you should be trading, okay? If it's not within that point, if it's not within that certain time of day, then there's nothing to do on the charts and you can feel free to go about your day and enjoy. But when you come to the charts during a certain time of day and you see the confluences that you need to see, then you will have no hesitation with pulling that trigger and moving forward. All right. So with that being said, this is your boy Mac. If you guys do have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. I love answering you all's questions, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.